The first live-action Star Wars series has officially landed. Now the question is, how does it measure up? Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things critics are saying about The Mandalorian.
A man of your skill should make short work of this.
For this list, we'll be taking a closer look at the first reviews of the Disney Plus Star Wars original series, The Mandalorian, in order to highlight some of the things that stand out the most about the show. Note, this will contain some minor spoilers, but only from the first episode, and we'll try to keep them to a minimum. Number 10. It hooks you with some good mysteries. Let's be honest, this show could be extremely mediocre and people would likely still watch it. Such has been the excitement for a live-action Star Wars series. But right from the very first episode, The Mandalorian embraces the opportunities afforded to it by the change of medium by teasing a story worthy of television, complete with detailed world building and more than a few burning questions. Seeds have been planted that we can only assume are going to be unraveled far more slowly and meticulously than they might on film. From the traumatic flashbacks of our protagonist as a foundling and his motivations, to the mysterious client and his jaw-dropping bounty target, there's plenty to keep us coming back week after week.
Wait, they said 50 years old.
Species age differently. Perhaps it could live many centuries.
Number 9. A bountiful amount of Easter eggs and lore. As the plot synopsis provided by Jon Favreau describes it, this story takes place in the outer reaches of the galaxy.
These are Imperial credits.
They still spin.
I don't know if you heard, but the Empire is gone.
Be that as it may, we're very much playing in the same universe. There are a ton of Easter eggs in the first episode, and while this easily could have played like an inelegant dump truck of fan service, these various little touches all fit just right. From a character that looks just like Boba Fett in the background of a shot, to Kowakian monkey lizards, the Easter eggs, both large and small, never feel forced. The series shows a real reverence for the world George Lucas created, and promises to mine the lore for all it's worth, especially the fan-favorite Mandalorian culture.
This is extremely generous. The excess will sponsor many foundlings.
That's good. I was once a foundling.
I know.
Number 8. The captivating cinematography. Television adaptations of popular film franchises have a high risk of disappointing fans. They usually come with a more restrictive budget, and unfortunately, the shooting style usually looks like it was made for TV, i.e. cheap. Thankfully, we're living in the golden age of big-budget television, and Disney is said to have dropped $120 million on just these 8 episodes. The end result is a series that looks like $120 million. The cinematography is very hard to fault. Not a single shot feels as if it's been wasted. The camera movement is always in service of the action or on-screen tension, the lighting is moody, and the composition is cinema quality. Number 7. The diverse cast. As we've seen with the sequel trilogy, there are few actors who will pass up the opportunity to cameo within the Star Wars universe. Case in point, actor and comedian Brian Posehn makes a blink-and-you'll-miss-it appearance as a speeder pilot. In terms of the show's core supporting cast, Favreau has assembled a strong and diverse team of talented actors. Carl Weathers is charming as always, and we're very curious to learn more about Omid Abtahi's mysterious Dr. Pershing. Though unrecognizable, Nick Nolte plays a self-serious Ugnaught moisture farmer named Kuil, who makes a lasting impression with his strange mannerisms. Add Gina Carano and Giancarlo Esposito, and you've got quite the cast. Number 6. The surprising but effective score. The first time that you watch The Mandalorian, chances are that the soundtrack isn't gonna jump out at you. There's so much happening on screen, not to mention all the Easter eggs, that you just sort of get lost in the story. But we'd argue that the score is actually a big part of easing you into the series.
Gispi Ubahasa Miyoko.
It's a remarkably solid fit, if not what people were expecting. Rather than the soaring orchestral style of John Williams, composer Ludwig Göransson went for more of a spaghetti western sound, albeit with a modern twist. That being said, Göransson borrows just enough compositional elements from Star Wars films past to make The Mandalorian still feel at home in this beloved universe. Number 5. The involvement of Werner Herzog. There are few people currently working in Hollywood quite as strange or unique as German actor and director Werner Herzog. How anyone even came up with the idea of casting the eccentric filmmaker, we may never know, but we're glad they did.
He also said you were expensive. Very expensive. Please sit.
Herzog, by his own admission, has apparently never watched any of the Star Wars films, and yet he feels that this didn't hamper his ability to inhabit the role. Weird choices all around, but the reviews are in, and everyone seems to be in agreement that Herzog is a standout, eccentricities and all. Bonus fact, when asked about Favreau's highly successful films, Herzog responded matter-of-factly, quote, "I do not know what other films he's made. Total character, great actor."
The Beskar belongs back into the hands of a Mandalorian. It is good to restore the natural order of things after a period of such disarray. Don't you agree?
Number 4. The sporadic humor. Star Wars is a franchise that's always balanced drama and humor, but since Disney acquired the property, the new films have skewed more in favor of overt jokes and silly moments similar to those seen in the MCU.
You and your friends are doomed. We will wipe your filth from the galaxy.
Okay, I'll hold.
Hello?
With The Mandalorian, however, there's a notably darker tone to the whole thing. It feels most similar to Rogue One. Like the aforementioned film, there are nonetheless moments of levity, but they are brief and likely to be few and far between. Some of them land and others less so. Taika Waititi's deadpan delivery as IG-11 was a highlight, whereas critics seem divided by SNL's Horatio Sanz as The Mandalorian's talkative first bounty, Mythrol.
I think I have to use the vac tube. I mean, I can do it here, but if you've never seen the fledgling Mythrol evacuate your thorax, you're a lucky guy, trust me.
Number 3. Pedro Pascal as the lead. In the first episode, you don't get a very clear picture of our protagonist, who's played by Game of Thrones alum Pedro Pascal, or his motivations.
Please lower your blaster.
Have them lower theirs first.
We have you 4-1.
I like those odds.
The titular Mandalorian is a man of few words, but even with his face covered the entire time, Pascal manages to say a lot through body language, and when he does speak, his tone similarly speaks volumes, even if the dialogue is a bit spotty at times.
I don't have time for this. Do you have a land speeder or speeder bike that I could hire?
Pascal plays the character cool and steely, but he's not unflappable, as we see during the big shootout alongside the scene-stealing IG-11.
Initiate self-destruct.
Do not self-destruct! We're shooting our way out!
Okay.
We've only gotten a taste of what Pascal is capable of in the role, but all signs point to him being an actor worthy of the helmet.
We'll never know.
No. We'll bring it in alive.
Number 2. It's not afraid to make some weird additions. Star Wars Underworld was a planned live-action series that died in development back when George Lucas was still at the reins. It would have taken viewers into the seedy underbelly of the Coruscant, where criminals and gang activity reign supreme. The show sadly never materialized, but The Mandalorian is certainly making good on its abandoned promise to explore the criminal side of the galaxy far, far away. References to illegal organ smuggling, stormtrooper helmets impaled on spikes. In the first episode, we even see the Mandalorian's toilet.
Found it! Thanks! It might take a while.
Perhaps most jarring, however, is that our protagonist isn't really a hero, at least not in the conventional Star Wars sense.
You know, you're not so bad for a droid.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. It looks like Star Wars. From the opening shot of the first episode, you feel like you've returned to a galaxy far, far away. There are some notable aesthetic differences, but they aren't so significant as to mark a serious stylistic departure. Sure, it feels a bit darker, but this is a darker series thematically speaking. As numerous critics have pointed out, this feels like the start of a movie, one that just happens to be 6 hours long and divided into 8 installments. Despite the lack of opening crawl, absence of familiar faces, and the addition of the aforementioned more unsavory elements, The Mandalorian feels firmly entrenched in the Star Wars universe, and that's in no small part thanks to the high-quality CGI, abundance of practical effects, and franchise-appropriate set design. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.